Good morning everyone, and welcome back. Cumberland Outdoorsman here with another one of my 22 series videos. In today's video I'll be featuring an old rifle. It's kind of unusual, but I think you're going to find this an interesting little video. Before I get started, let me first of all express my thanks to all my viewers and subscribers out there. I really truly appreciate all your support, and especially to those of you that have taken the time to comment and leave your stories behind. I truly treasure reading those stories because they come from the heart, and you know, whether it's about an old 22 that you might have gotten as a kid and you still own it, or something that was passed down to you by your dad or your grandpa or maybe an uncle or a friend, those are wonderful stories and they add a lot to this channel. And I really truly treasure those stories and very much appreciate it. So thanks a lot, guys. Well, anyway, folks, with that being said, let me share a little story of my own. It was 1979. I was 15 years old. My dad was in the Army. We were a military family, and we were stationed in Wiesbaden, Germany. And my mother's German, and she worked on the German economy while my dad was busy with his military career, and I was still in school, of course. And one day I approached my dad and I said, you know, I think I'd like to have a 22 rifle. And he said, well, that's perfectly fine. You're plenty old enough. But the word of the day is J-O-B, job. So he made me earn that first rifle. And I gladly did that because, like I mentioned, my mother worked on the German economy and she got me a job as a dishwasher. So I spent Christmas break of 1979 running an automated dishwasher in the place where she worked for 2 weeks, and I earned enough money to buy my first 22 rifle. Well, anyway, folks, Christmas break came and went. I had that job where I earned enough money, like I said, to buy my first 22 rifle, and I still remember the day when my dad took me to the Rod and Gun Club to go pick out my first 22 rifle. And it was really exciting. You know how you are when you're a kid, your first 22 or your first car or maybe your first girlfriend, you know. Those are special times that stick in your memory that, you know, just never leave you. Anyway, we went to the Rod and Gun Club there where they sold guns, and I remember walking through the door, and on this side of the wall and then the next wall and then the wall facing the door, it was just lined with rifles and shotguns. And then they had glass counters where they sold handguns and scopes and binoculars and all kinds of accessories for hunters and shooters. And on the other side of the room, to my best recollection, there were trophy mounts like deer and wild boar and pheasants, things like that. It was just a really neat little place to go into, and I was just amazed at what I was looking at. It's just right up my alley. And anyway, the man behind the counter said, "Can I help y'all?" And my dad said, "Yeah, my son would like to buy his first 22 rifle." And he said, "Well, we got several nice ones to choose from." And the first one that he handed me was one of these, folks. A Remington Nylon 66. And my first impressions were not too good. I looked at this thing and I was like, man, I don't want this. He said, "Why not?" I said, "It's plastic. You know, it's a piece of junk." I said, "I want something made out of wood and steel." So I looked up on the rack and I spotted a little rifle. It was a bolt action. And this is what I chose instead. A Remington Model 581. And I've still got it to this day. This is the one that I chose. Been a great little rifle. Been with me on many journeys in the woods. Squirrel hunting, even rabbit hunting. You know, just a wonderful little rifle. Very accurate too. But you know, when you're young, you don't really know a lot about guns. I mean, you learn things as you age. And I found out that these Remington Nylon rifles are very reliable, and they're highly sought after now. They've become somewhat of a collector's item anymore. And they made several different variations of this rifle, and I'll be covering that while I'm shooting it. So let's go over to the shooting bench and let's see how well this little gun can perform. Well folks, here we are at my shooting bench and shooting range, and I'm going to be testing this little gun, this Nylon 66, for accuracy, functionality, and reliability, of course, just to see which kind of ammunition that it actually prefers. And while I'm doing that, I'll be discussing its very colorful history, all the different variations of these rifles that came out back during those days, and also my background with this little rifle, which is not very much, folks, because honestly they never really impressed me that much. I used to encounter them at gun shows, flea markets, pawn shops, and even yard sales, and I always just kind of shied away from them because of my very first impressions of this rifle when the first one was handed to me so many years ago. But you know, just until recently I really didn't give it much thought because I never really wanted one, but then I thought this would be a great little rifle to add to my collection because the collectability of these guns has really gone way up in recent years, and so has the value, folks. So I wanted to add one to the collection and feature it in this video. Now, some of the features that it came with are a fully adjustable rear sight for elevation and for windage here on the side. That little tiny screw is for your left and right movement of the rear sight. The front sight is non-adjustable. It's just rather large bladed front sight, kind of futuristic looking. It came with this nylon resin stock, and these nylon rifles were made at a time when Remington was owned by DuPont, and DuPont came up with this synthetic resin that they called Zytel 101. And these guns came in different color variations, this one being the Mohawk Brown, probably the most common of all of them. Well, I know they are because you see them more regularly than you do the other color variations. Then they made an Apache Black that had this white diamond in the fore end, the black stock, and they made a few variations of those Apaches as well. Some of them came with these blued receivers, and then some of them had a chrome receiver cover and a chrome barrel, which was really sharp looking. And then probably the rarest of the Nylon 66 rifles is the Seneca Green, and those have really gone way up in price. I mean, I've seen them go for over $1,000 in online auctions. But the Mohawk Brown is, like I say, the most common. I think they made just a little over 700,000 of this variation. And all in all, the nylon rifles, there were over 1 million of them made. So they were quite popular back in the day. And Remington kind of took a chance on putting these out on the market because a lot of people just weren't receptive to a plastic gun. You know, something made out of plastic instead of wood and steel, which was the case with me. I was more of a traditionalist, and I always looked for something that was just a little bit more wholesome than something synthetic like this. Now, they made different variations of this gun. Like I said, they made a Model 77 or a 10C that had a detachable magazine here at the bottom. I've got one here on the table to show you. Here it is. It's a plastic black magazine, and as you can see on the top there, there's 77 embossed into the plastic. And these are identical to the Remington 581 and 541 series magazines that they had in their bolt action rifles. They're interchangeable. And one interesting thing about these is they made a 10-shot magazine as well, and they listed these as 5-shot magazines, but they'll actually hold 6 rounds. And I'll show you that here. I've got 6 bullets here we're going to load in here. And honestly, these little plastic magazines, people kind of scoffed at them at one time, but they're really expensive now. They're hard to come by anymore. But they're very durable. I got to say, you know, they're impervious to rust because they're made out of plastic, so you can handle them without worrying about them. And honestly, I'm quite amazed at how long these little magazines last, because some of the ones I've got, I mean, I've dropped them and I've stepped on them and everything else, and they still hold together. But here you can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in this magazine. Now, if you have one of these old nylon rifles, whether it be the Mohawk or the Apache or the Seneca, the tubular magazine ones are all fed from the rear, right here. They have this brass magazine, and it holds 14 rounds. So I'm going to go ahead and load up 14 rounds here of some of this CCI Blazer, and we'll see how well it cycles CCI Blazer. One thing I should mention is they were listed for 22 long rifle only. Okay, so it won't cycle 22 long or 22 short. However, you can load 22 shorts in there or longs and manually cycle them, you know, after each shot. But for functionality and reliability, we're going to test out 22 long rifles only today. And I've got some targets set up downrange. We'll see how well the little gun can shoot. Never thought I'd be out here doing a video with a plastic gun, folks. But here we go. And you just put your magazine tube back in place and twist it until it seats down. And once it's flush like that, then you know it's ready to shoot. So let's take a few shots here and see how well the little gun can shoot. Let's see, I see a little prairie dog sticking up down there. A hit. Let's see, I see a squirrel down there on the right. And a bunny rabbit. Oh, that was a miss. And I see another squirrel. I'll tell you what, the trigger pull is really good on this gun. Not bad at all. Let's see if I can hit that swinging target there. Okay, first one was a miss, but the second one hit. It's kind of hard to sight in on distant targets like that with that large blade front sight. But the gun seems to be shooting real well. Let's go back to that prairie dog. Okay, that's 14 rounds. Let's make sure here. Okay, 14 rounds. Well, it shot those flawlessly. No misfires, no failure to feed or failure to eject. Everything worked flawlessly. Now, put the safety on here. I'm going to load up some of these Remingtons. I'm only going to load 5 at a time because I'm just checking to see if the gun will actually function with these. That bunny rabbit's still standing up. Let's see if we can hit him. I'll try to zoom in on that. quite a bit louder. All right, let's hit that Sasquatch a couple times. All right, that's 5 rounds. Okay guys, now I'm going to go ahead and load up 5 rounds of the Winchester PowerPoint ammo. There's what they look like. Kind of a mean looking round. Got a very large hollow point. So they should expand really well. But we'll check them for functionality and see if they'll cycle through this Nylon 66. Let me go ahead and zoom in on that target down there. You'll see that little orange prairie dog sticking up kind of at the bottom center of the screen. Let's try him first. Okay, we got him. Let's try that squirrel on the right. Get the bunny rabbit. And the next squirrel there in line. And let's try that swinging target down there below. And that's the last round. Boy, those shot really well. Well, so far with the high velocity ammo, this gun has functioned flawlessly. Okay guys, I think I got the little rifle sighted in pretty well. Let's take 5 shots with this SK Standard Plus. And I've got a target set up down here at 35 yards. So let's load up 5 shots here and see how well the little gun can do. 35 yards is a good beginning to see how well the gun can shoot. Now, I don't know how well it's going to cycle these because this is standard velocity. Some semi-automatic guns do much better with higher velocity stuff. So let's get zoomed in on this target here and see how well the gun can perform at 35 yards. Safety's on, and we're ready. Well folks, I went ahead and loaded 5 rounds of this CCI standard velocity target because I want to try this Nylon 66 at the same distance using that ammunition to see how consistently that it groups this ammo. But before I do, let me show you just how efficiently these Nylon 66 rifles will load from the magazine into the loading chamber. So watch closely. I'm going to go ahead and pull the charging handle back and look in this opening right here. You'll see what I'm talking about. See that? I mean, it just pops it right in there. That may be why these are so reliable. So anyway, let's go ahead and get sighted in here and zoomed in at that target. Here's a 5-shot group of CCI standard velocity. Here we go. Well, that's pretty consistent. It's shooting just a little higher than the SK Standard Plus, but you can see that's a pretty nice little group there using CCI standard velocity. Well, folks, I went ahead and loaded 14 more rounds. The first 10 are standard velocity, and we're going to have a little fun now. We're going to shoot those steel targets with the first 10 shots, and then I got 4 water-filled soda pop cans for the last 4 shots, which I've loaded here with Winchester PowerPoint ammunition. So anyway, let's see how well the little gun does with loading these and shooting these interchangeably. All right. First shot is going to be the swinging target on the far left. Okay. We'll go ahead and go for that squirrel on the far right. Well, my bunny fell over. Let's try that squirrel on the far left. Okay, I see a swinging target way over on the right there. Okay, let's try that other target. And another swinging target. And I see 2 cans down there. Let's hit the one on the left, right at the bottom. I think that's going right through that can. Yeah, it's just zipping right through that can. That's what's happening. All right, now it's time to shoot the cans, the water-filled cans. There's one on the far right here. We're going to hit it with the Winchester PowerPoint. You can tell those are a lot louder. And the one right on the left here. Okay. I see one down there at 50 yards. Those 2 cans right there are still bothering me. I'm going to try and knock those out with the last 3 shots. Okay, I hit that one. Okay, I got 1 shot left. That far right swinging target. Let's see if we can knock him out. All right. Well, guys, I gave the gun a light brushing and just wiping it down a little bit. I got 10 more rounds here in my hand. I'm going to load these up and fire these in fast succession just to see if this gun will still cycle fairly reliably. 22 ammunition is inherently dirty, and it really depends on what you shoot it out of, but if you're shooting a semi-automatic, you're going to get a lot of powder fouling and stuff like that into the action. So you really kind of need to clean them on a fairly regular basis. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and load these up, and got it charged now. So let's see how well it'll shoot in fast succession. Here we go. All right, that's all of them. Pretty reliable, folks. So, you know, if you've been shooting your 22 and you've got a 100 rounds or more through it, it's probably not a bad idea just to go and wipe it down a little bit, maybe clean the barrel. 22s generally don't have to be cleaned all that much, but they're going to last a lot longer if you maintain them well. And that's testimony right there. Keep them clean and they'll run flawless for you. Well guys, as you can tell, it's starting to get dark. Just a while ago it was sunny, or partly sunny anyway, with a few clouds, and all of a sudden we've got total cloud cover, so I think there's some rain coming. So I need to hurry up and finish out this video. And I'm done testing the little gun anyway. I gave it a run for its money today and fired, I don't know how many rounds through it, but I wanted to test it for accuracy, reliability, and overall functionality, and the gun pretty much passed the test. Now, with that being said, there were occasional shots where the gun did not fire, and that was using standard velocity ammo, and I think because in some cases you don't have enough blowback to fully cycle the action, so when I squeezed the trigger nothing happened because there was no new cartridge in the chamber. So using high velocity ammo had no issues whatsoever because there was enough force there to fully cycle the action. But anyway, in terms of accuracy, this is a 5-shot group using SK Standard Plus. Now I don't know if those 2 shots right there were the first ones, but we've got 3 of them right there all clustered together the size of my fingernail. And that's pretty good accuracy at 38 yards. I said it was 35, but it's actually more like 38 yards. So at reasonable hunting ranges, you know, that's pretty good accuracy right there. And as you can see here, I've got a nickel, and I can pretty well cover all shots with that nickel right there, you know. So that's not too bad. I'll do a little bit more experimenting with different ammunition in this gun. And there's a 5-shot group using CCI standard velocity. Now these shot higher, which that can easily be adjusted for. You know, you just bring your sights where your impact is lower. But that's 5 shots right there, and one of these here, the bullet went through the same hole, and that can easily be covered with a nickel, as you can see here, you know, very easily. So nickel-sized groups at reasonable hunting ranges make this rifle more than suitable for small game hunting, whether you're rabbit hunting or squirrel hunting, or if you're shooting pets like pigeons, rats, whatever, you know, whatever you encounter. There are so many things that you can hunt with a 22, and you need good accuracy to do that because a lot of your targets are very small, and this gun is more than capable of handling that situation. Someone else doing some target practicing back there, but I really need to go ahead and close out this video because I just felt the first raindrop hit my hand. So before I go, let me express my thanks. I truly appreciate you coming along and watching the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and hopefully you got some useful information out of it. So with that being said, remember, if you like to go hunting, fishing, camping, shooting, hiking, whatever your outdoor pursuit might be, I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. But also remember, hit that like button, smash the bell icon, and subscribe. That way you'll know when more videos like this one will be coming your way. We'll see y'all next time. Take care.